This call is being recorded.
Oh.
Oh.
I wasn't ready for her again.
I told you.
This call is being recorded.
This call is being recorded.
My name is Vanessa. Sorry.
Okay, just took a turn.
It's fine.
There's something in the air.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to There's Something in the Air. Today we are going to discuss our reaction to the 2-hour, two-part season finale of Wynonna Earp, episode 311 and 312, Daddy Issues, and I've just looked it up 4 times. Motherfucker. War Paint.
War Paint.
Thank you. I am joined by 2 friends of the podcast. We have Heidi.
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me.
And Cat Zimm, who is a first-time joiner, long-time listener, maybe?
Correct. Very correct. Hello. Thank you for having me.
So we're just gonna discuss a handful of things that we wanted to talk about with regards to the finale. I do want to start with, we all attended finale watch parties. I don't know where all of you, dear listeners, live, but if you have the chance to attend a finale watch party, I highly recommend it. I had a great time. I'm going to speak for Heidi and say she did too.
I did.
We went to the Pittsburgh watch party. We had about 13 people. I met some new people, made some new friends. My favorite story from the whole night is probably the extremely drunk 54-year-old woman who was at the bar when we got there. And she was like, "What are you guys all doing here?" And we explained that we were watching the finale of Wynonna Earp. And she was like, "I fucking love that show." And then she insisted on buying us all drinks. And Bridget was like, "You don't have to do that." And I said, "I'll take a Blue Moon, please." Anyway, she did not join us because she hadn't watched season 3 yet, but she was a huge fan of the show, and I just thought that was really cool and kind of random.
That's awesome.
It was.
Yeah, it was entertaining. And tried to buy me a. I was there when she offered the alcohol, and I was like, "Oh, I'm Heidi. I don't drink alcohol." And she's like, "Well, just have a beer." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure beer is alcohol, but all right, lady."
If we have learned anything this week, it is that there is nothing wrong with beer. Sorry. Too real. #, too real.
Oh my god, too soon!
Sorry.
Yeah, I like beer because I'm cool.
Beer! It's just beer! Sorry.
Anyway, Kat, you attended the party in Chicago, is that right?
Yes, it was the Chicago area, because if anyone from Chicago would be like, "It wasn't in Chicago." It was in a suburb, and it was in this weird, room that we rented in a motel kind of looking space, but it actually is a place for, training security guards.
Sure.
So it looked like a classroom. But it was a great space that it ended up working out, and we probably had about a dozen or so people come, and it was super fun, and I got to gloat about being right about stuff and had an audience to it, and also got a room of people to yell when I was looking at my phone during a commercial break and my face showed up on television, which I had no idea was going to happen. It's really great, and I pretty much try to go out of my way not to watch the episodes alone ever, and have succeeded for the most part. So I highly recommend it if you can find people in your area. Go have fun.
And if you can't find people in your area, create a party, put out feelers and see if there's anybody available. If there are only a couple of you, you can go to one of your houses. We went to a hotel in Pittsburgh and took over the bar. It wasn't in Pittsburgh, just like yours wasn't in Chicago. It was in Moon Township. But we, it was kind of a win-win. They sold probably 20 or 25 more drinks than they normally would have, a handful of food, and 3 hotel rooms. Because several of us stayed because we had a feeling we would have too much to drink. And like Bridget stayed, she drove 2 hours to get there, you know. And Heidi was spending the night too because she lives in Columbus. But I don't know, it's a good time. I usually watch alone, or if I'm not alone, I'm with my good-natured but disinterested wife, which is how Emily Andrews described her at the last Pittsburgh meetup. Because Bridget, I think, FaceTimed her, and everybody's like freaking out and whatever, and Chris is just crocheting. Like, oh yeah, it's fine. She just came to see the people. And Chris has gotten a little more into it this season, which I'm grateful for. And I think she, especially because of her background, will really be interested in some of the mythology from this season. But she's been out of town, so she's not caught up. So yes, watching with people is very fun. And I would say that our first topic, let's talk about something you sort of touched on, which is you said you got to shout about some theories that you were right about all along. And I know Heidi had mentioned you were one of the ones who said from the beginning that Charlie was Julian and Julian was Charlie.
Yes. We got together, Chicago Earpers got together for the Earpmas episode and like did full Earpmas. And when we watched that episode, when Charlie, that's not the first episode he was in, right? He was in one before that. I don't remember. Anyways, when we were talking about Charlie.
No, that was his first episode.
Yeah.
Was it? Really? I'm so bad at remembering things. So anyway, so we saw him, and I think it was when she pointed Peacemaker at him and nothing happened. I was like, I'm suspicious. I think he's gonna like, jokingly, I was like, he's Waverly's dad. And then like as the episode went farther, I was like, guys, he's Waverly's dad. And everyone was like, shut up, no, he's not. You say that about everyone. And I was like, no, like I really think I'm like, if it's not Randy Nedley, I think it's him. And so yeah, so I've been saying it. And so luckily a lot of the people who were at that party were at the finale watch party, and so I got to gloat because I am very rarely right about things, but I was correct. And it's weird and complicated, but I was right about it, and that's all that matters.
Yes, correct. That's the most important part about the reveal, is that Cat Zimm was right.
Yeah. I'm very thankful that Emily wrote the entire season around something that I guessed much after she finished writing it. So
and one of your cosplays.
Oh yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I'm excited to dress up as that someday, maybe.
So for those of you who don't know,
full meta circle.
For those of you who don't know, Kat went to 2 cons, right? Like one as part of a group, and then one just where you were going to meet Greg.
Yeah, the second one was the Calgary Film Festival, so it wasn't really a con, which is why I didn't want to dress up as. Oh, sorry, I'm like cutting you off before you get to the.
You're fine.
I'm sorry.
No, please do. We're not professionals here. Just a bunch of assholes. So she dressed up as Vacation Nedley. And you know, when Nedley shows up at the end of the episode in his Hawaiian shirt, he looked exactly like, you know, he was Vacation Nedley who Kat had cosplayed. And I thought that was really cool. That was one of my favorite things about the episode, is that there were like a handful of little, maybe they weren't, but what could be construed as little fan shout-outs. Mm-hmm. And that was one of them. There was the Stitch and Bitch Club where they do embroidery. Mm-hmm. Possibly a shout out to Megan, our resident stitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your name got a shout out. Mama number 5.
Yes. I kind of shouted when that happened as I watched it alone in my house for the first time. Like I told Bridget I was going to shout in her DMs about what happened, and she only got 3 messages. It was, I forget, I think all I said was this finale was a lot. and it was something random. Oh, Purgatory Yacht Club, and holy shit, I can't believe they did a whole story arc resolution around my name, but that makes perfect sense or something like that. And I don't, maybe it was just a coincidence, but I appreciated it. I thought it was fun.
I picked up on it.
Are there any coincidences? Because now that you said Purgatory Yacht Club, that also made me just think of Drunk Hot. Doesn't she wear that captain's hat all the time?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Nothing is a coincidence. Everything is tied to everyone.
I often say that watching this show and reacting to it, it's like you're looking out at a field of breadcrumbs and you just have to figure out which ones you're supposed to follow. Everything feels like it could be a clue.
Yeah, absolutely. But I definitely think those were real sort of shout-outs because Earpers have made this show what it is. I mean, so has the cast, right? The writers, the creators. But without an audience that no chills the way this one does, it wouldn't, without that piece of the puzzle of the show, it wouldn't have gone anywhere. So all those things together. So I totally think they were actual, real fan shout-outs.
I thought it was very sweet and very cool. Like, I was not expecting that. And maybe there's an Earper somewhere named Rita who's like, what the fuck? I watch too.
Okay. It's possible.
Which is fair.
And what are the other ones?
Erica,
Angela?
Jessica?
Just keep saying names. They're not right.
Erica
Agnes.
and Jessica. Yes. Mercedes? No, that's not it.
Yeah, I initially also didn't pick up on the Vacation Nedley immediately because what Nedley was wearing in that scene is, from having met Greg, is very similar, I would say, from the one time I've met him. It is very similar to what Greg wears in real life because, as I discovered going to the Calgary Film Festival, where very few other people were dressed up. That's what I didn't want to do it when I was at Dragon Con and did the group cosplay with everyone. I talked with Emily and she's like, Greg had just been announced for the Calgary thing and she knew that I was going. Sorry. And she said, well, you're going to wear that in Calgary, right? And I was like, it's a film festival. And she's like, yeah, in Calgary. And I'm like, and she meant like, it's more chill, like, don't worry about it. And I was like, she did not mean it in a derogatory sense. And I was like, no, I can't. She's like, he's going to be there. You have to, you can't go if you don't do it. And I was like, okay. So then I flew a tiny plane up to Calgary. So I didn't want to pay for a check-in bag. So I had a tiny little carry-on bag, but I also had a full fake knockoff Stetson hat. So I couldn't fit it in my carry-on. So I wore it through the airport.
Yes.
Going through Chicago O'Hare Airport wearing a full black cowboy hat is... people aren't really used to that. But then I got to Calgary and the people greeting you as soon as you get off the plane are wearing cowboy hats. So it was like, I'm home, I'm here.
That was the most amazing story.
That's true.
I'm now picturing you walking through Chicago's airport in a cowboy hat.
Yeah, it's a big old airport and the international terminal is very bright. And I had to sit with it in my lap on the plane because I couldn't put it anywhere. It was so large. Yeah, and then getting to the actual film festival, Emily was like, she had it's a year ago today, so it's fresh in my mind because I just went through my time hop or whatever, not sponsored. But she was like, you bet Greg is so nervous. And I responded, I was like, well, you can tell him I'm going to be dressed as him. Maybe don't do that. That might make him more nervous. And she was like, she took that as me saying, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, no, like I'm at breakfast wearing a "This Guy Loves Uma Thurman" shirt. Like I just don't have everything on right now. But like I'm like at breakfast in a coffee shop, like wearing that shirt, and socks and sandals and everything. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. And then when I got there, he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Oh my god.
Like Greg Lawson loves to wear Hawaiian shirts. And when I came up with the idea of the costume, I had no idea at all that I didn't know Greg, because he was like our fandom cryptid. Like nobody knew him and nobody had seen him. He was just Nedley, and that's all we knew about him. So he was like the Katie McGrath until he got
Just like her.
he got Twitter. Just like her.
Oh,
just
like
the same.
Yes.
So then he said, like, today he when I posted the it's been 1 year, he told me that made him feel so much more comfortable and like loved. And I was like, oh my gosh, Greg, I didn't even know you liked Hawaiian shirts. So yeah.
That's so sweet.
Long tangent.
Yeah,
but when he showed up in the show, like it was I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's not very professional, so I'm sure the costume department like picked everything out for him and whatever. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they were like, do you have a favorite Hawaiian shirt that you want to wear? So I don't know. That is not #not confirmed. But yeah, I was very excited, and it felt like a nod for sure. So I appreciate it more than words can say, and I'm totally blown away that anything I did in a stupid, a stupid idea to not have to wear the full police uniform to be Nedley, my favorite character, ended up anyway tangentially being in the show that I love is just amazing.
Well, and then you got mentioned sort of in the behind the scenes, because Greg mentioned that a fan showed up dressed as Vacation Nedley. Like, he talks about it in that iTunes release and how it did make him feel comfortable.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and
awesome.
Varun talking about it was in a feature that was just about Nedley. The fact that I got to mention again, like I feel, you guys, Nedley's office has been on the Nedley train more vocally than I have ever since the beginning. So like all props to Jill. And I'm very excited for her to meet Greg in 2 weeks.
So I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see that happen.
It's going to be awesome.
It's like, I have to, like, I feel like they should film it because, come on, that's like, it's going to be epic.
I suggested a photo out to her for she and I with him, but then we never said anything about it. So I should follow up on that, because if we're doing it, I think I need to bring props. I also, oh my gosh, Jill's so popular. I also suggested one with her and I, but I can't say what it is. I can tell you guys after, but yes, I will do the same.
It's a surprise for someone, but yeah.
Are you cosplaying at Earpapalooza?
Yes, I'm doing a couple cosplays. I'm doing 3. 2 of them are very, very simple. I'm not doing a ton. One of them is simple-ish, and I'm doing it for the karaoke night. But again, I don't want to reveal. Again, because I don't want people to have expectations. You don't know. They'll be there. I'll be dressed as something.
You know what? I get that. Because I was like, hey, I'll have 3 Earp reviews finale week, and then the 3rd one never showed up. So Bridget was like, you shouldn't tell people. Yeah.
You don't people have expectations. That's why I never told anybody about, well, I told a couple people about Vacation Nedley, because obviously there were people in my group and stuff. And Casey helped me get like half of the stuff. But yeah, I just didn't tell it. You just can't. But I did tease the hell out of everybody about what it was, and turned out well.
So. I put expectations on you, and you weren't even there, because as soon as he stood up, or no, as soon as he made his entrance, not when he stood up, that was the end with my no. As soon as he made his entrance, I looked at Bridget and I said, "Oh my gosh, we better get Cat Zimm redoing Vacation Nedley, and this time with a shotgun.
And saying, fuck yeah. Oh, wait, do you guys cuss on this one or no?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Which, like, literally, like, I don't know how my dreams for Nedley could have come more true in this episode, but then, like, having everyone else being in danger. First of all, Chrissy Nedley name drop again.
Name drop!
From Nedley. Chrissy Nedley, everyone's favorite daughter.
Everyone's favorite chloroformer.
She's a reformed chloroformer.
We don't know that for sure.
She could just be in rehab right now for chloroforming people. That's where Chrissy's been. Randy was just like, Chrissy, we gotta talk about this.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I could not have been happier that him and Winona are like literally gonna be like Team Batman. Because I know if Greg has said a couple times that Emily has described Nedley and Winona as Alfred and Batman, respectively, and he's like, nobody wants to be Alfred, no offense. So he said when we were in Calgary, Peeker was with me, and he did this like long, like amazing like dissertation about Nedley as a character, and luckily the interview on Tales of the Black Badge, he went into it a lot, but he sees Nedley as like an older Batman who's retiring and training the new Batman. And I was like, oh, like Batman Beyond? And he's like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, it's that. And he's like, cool. So I think maybe Greg Lawson also quit Batman when they lost Uma Thurman, but again, not confirmed. Hashtag not confirmed.
Not confirmed. These are just fan theories, everybody. Please don't write in and complain.
Yes, don't. But yeah, I'm excited to see them team up. And some people are like, oh, what if he's just like a figment of Winona's imagination, like Mama was in that one episode? And then I was like, then why would he be dressed as Vacation Nedley? Wouldn't Winona dress him as like normal Nedley?
Yeah, he'd be dressed as the sheriff.
Yeah, I think he's there, and I think they're gonna fuck shit up together, which is
I think
amazing.
he's totally there.
I am super excited for season 4. So many things they've set up. I'm like, holy shit! Like, it's just gonna be so good.
Yeah. I'm talking so much. I'm so sorry. Am I
Cat,
the only
I
one?
asked you on the podcast so you would talk.
Am I the only one who feels like, not that I felt like hollow after other seasons, and obviously like, I guess, okay, so watching the last episode, I definitely thought before the end, before that last scene, I was like, oh shit, Doc and Waverly are gone. And so I thought Winona was going to have to like learn to live without the two of them and like try and get them back, obviously. But it's like, no, everyone's gone except for Nedley. So like,
yeah,
I felt like that was, I'm trying to find a way to word it, because like either one would have been satisfying. Obviously the one where just the two disappeared would have been more devastating, I think, because like you would have Nicole dealing without Waverly, like that would be complicated. So I feel like I'm like so excited and less like, oh my god, what's gonna happen, like with like Waverly touching the goo and the gunshot. Like that was such a troll ending of the first season.
It really
like I was so unhappy. So like it's not that I feel like more, there's still a billion questions, but I feel a little bit more like, cool, this is gonna be fucking awesome. Like instead of like thinking of all the terrible things, and obviously there are gonna be terrible things too, but I'm just like, I love Randy Nedley so much, and I love Winona so much, and I love the two of them so much. I'm just like, shit, I'm gonna get at least like the first 5 minutes of an episode, if not more, of these two being like, let's go save everybody.
I think the cool thing too is, so, Jeremy and Robin and Nicole and Chrissy and the rest of the town, although not all of them, because most of them were evacuated. So hopefully it was just... Pardon me?
Valdez question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe Valdez took them, maybe they willingly went with Valdez, but like no matter where they are, so Nicole's gonna have to deal with being without Waverly. And then like when she gets rescued, she's probably like, oh thank God, I get back to my girlfriend. We can talk about that giant question that she asked me.
Oof.
And
Yeah.
then she realizes that Waverly's trapped in the garden. You know, that one little slice of hope she had was of, you know, if I can just get out of whatever the fuck situation the writers put her in, if I can just get out of this, I'll be okay because Waverly will be on the other side. And then she realizes she's not. Like, man. Or conversely, if Waverly's the one who gets saved first, like Winona goes and saves her, there's some crazy shit that happens, obviously, because whatever was going down in there was not good. I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that it probably was not great. She's like, oh my God, Winona saved me and now I can be with Nicole. Oh, just kidding. Nicole's missing and we don't know where the fuck she is. Have a great day. Like, so many layers and so much craziness.
I have a feeling they're going to have to get them back first. Because I think Nicole has a bigger part to play somehow that we don't know yet. Simply for two reasons. One, when Nicole touches Waverly, when they're standing at Charlie's body, Waverly has a vision of somebody, like it looks like from somebody's point of view going up those stairs and the door opens. And we know when Charlie touched Waverly, she saw his, like, things in his head. So to me that meant what she saw was something that was going on with Nicole. And why was she seeing somebody going up the stairs and the door opening when it was Nicole touching her? And I think nothing is like a throwaway in this show. And we know she survived the massacre, but we still don't know how or why. And I just feel like that's still important. And then she's got the ring. So I think those things, like, I don't think her surviving the massacre was just a throwaway thing. And I think it's still going to have some kind of role to play. Plus the ring, plus that vision of what looked to me like Nicole going up the stairs, like, from her point of view. Which is why you didn't actually see her in the shot. So, anyways. I think they're going to have to find her first.
Yeah. That's definitely interesting. That's a good point.
Sorry, that's a lot to wrap my head around. You're absolutely right. I definitely think Nicole will have, you know, she will have her role to play in all of this mythology with the garden. Like she wasn't a survivor for nothing. They've done such a good job of fleshing her out as more than just Waverly's girlfriend. And I'm excited to see how that will play itself out in season 4.
Yeah, well, and even the proposal, she did that proposal with an angel's ring, right? So when half-angelly Waverly takes the Peacemaker sword and makes Winona a champion, we have no idea what it means to make that kind of a declaration when you're putting an angel ring on somebody's fingers.
Ooh,
yeah.
Right? That's fair.
Yeah, like did she name her as a champion? Did she name her as a something else? Like, and
or
how
as
is
a
that
protector or a, like, right. Who knows?
How is that going to factor in with wherever the fuck they are?
Or does it? Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, or does it offer some kind of protection to Nicole because it's the half angel declaring her love for this person and putting the angel ring on her? Like maybe now it acts as like a talisman or a protection of some sort for the person wearing it. So
that would be interesting. I also think that I would agree that I think she has a role to play. I think because such a big deal was made out in the Fire Witch, Maeve.
Mm-hmm.
When she was like, she's a human. She's purely human. I can't jump into you guys because you're not. but like you can do the takeaway of like, oh, Jeremy's not fully human, and Doc obviously isn't human, but also you could take that as like Nicole is fully human, but you know who were like fully human? Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
So like if we continue with the creation, like what if Nicole, the combined power of the ring and her being like a descendant of Adam and Eve, or like, you know, even, I don't know if you want to go even crazier, like who knows? What if that's the key? Like the fact her humanity is what makes it so she could go save Waverly.
And so I saw, you know, you watched this episode one time and there's a lot of fucking confusion, right? Because there's a lot. It's just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some confusion as to why Winona couldn't, you know, like enter the staircase. And I think after my third rewatch, I realized it's because she was like Charlie. Charlie couldn't enter the garden because he was the protector of it. He was the guardian. And Waverly named Nicole, nope, Waverly named her sister, you know, Winona, star of the show, named her the protector of it. And I think that's why she couldn't enter.
Well,
that makes sense.
It does. I also though thought that I thought Charlie could enter it. He just chose not to because he says he never left his post until he met Michelle, Mama. So I felt like maybe he could if he had wanted to, but his post wasn't to go inside the garden, it was to guard the entrance to the garden. But I don't know. I just have so many questions of why Winona couldn't even see the stairs when Robin, Jeremy, Nicole, Waverly could all see them. Like, why couldn't she see them? Because Nicole was, at this point, right, Nicole was just Nicole. Well, like, why could she see them and Winona couldn't? I still don't entirely understand that.
I wonder if it's not necessarily just some form of righteousness, like if you're a good person, but how you see yourself. If maybe everybody else thought they were worthy, and maybe Winona didn't.
Yeah.
Because it's tied in with Peacemaker, right? And we know Peacemaker has a lot of opinions about Peacemaker has opinions about who it wants to shoot and who it doesn't, and we have all of those crazy color things going on. Like Peacemaker's all about consent and free will, I think. And if you take that a step further, if Winona didn't believe that she was worthy, but as soon as Waverly said that she was, that's when she could see the stairs.
Yeah,
it's not,
that
it's
could
not,
be it.
yeah, not just that she named her a guardian, but that Winona felt like because Waverly did that, she was worthy of it. Just a thought.
Yeah, and I just want to say that I will never not laugh hysterically at all of the stair jokes because I don't know, they just made me like, "Are you levitating?" She's like, "Are you levitating?"
That was so funny.
When she's saying to Balshar, "You're not going to be able to climb those stairs," and then she's like, "He is standing next to the stairs, right?" And then she's like, "I see the stairs." I don't know. I laugh so hard every time. Like, yeah, he is standing.
Can we talk about how? Can we talk about how Balshar stole Megan's hat and then lost it?
I know, right? See, I just assume that in the bonus features, there's Megan entering purgatory and like creeping into his. Where do you think Balshar lives? Like,
he lives in the factory.
Oh, okay.
The yacht club.
So Megan sneaks into the abattoir and is like, "Oh, I'm here for the Stitch and Bitch Club," and the beekeepers are like, "Whatever, you seem nice," and she like creeps in, takes the hat. Like Sam is waiting outside in the getaway Subaru, and they take off. Special. That's in the deleted scenes.
The only thing I would add is that she winks at Mercedes before she leaves, and then leaves. That's the only thing.
She almost gets caught because she's ringing out and she sees Mercedes and she turns around and she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And you see her phone lighting up. Her phone lighting up with messages from Sam like, "Where are you? You know, it's been 31 minutes since you ate. You need to floss. Also, Balshar is coming." But and Megan's like, "Oh, like, we'll get back to this later," and then she leaves.
Oh man.
I buy it. I buy it.
I'm writing
But
that fanfic.
this is so specific.
It's extremely specific. 4
It
people
really
will
was.
think that's hilarious.
I'm one of the 4.
It's
Um,
like when I did this week's Earp review. I wrote one for Willa Earp,
oh
and
my
I thought, you know what, Megan, if nothing else, Megan will find this funny. Like, it's very
God,
specific.
so funny.
But I'd messaged her the night before, and I was like, hey, I hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. I did a funny something that you might think is funny for Friday, and then like I slept really late, and my blog auto-published and it auto-tweeted about it, and I woke up to all these notifications about it. And she was like all caps screaming, like, "Oh my god!"
It's so funny.
It was funny. Did anybody else catch too? So the gayest season ever had a 5th person come out in these 2 episodes. Anybody?
Had a witch person?
A 5th
Oh,
person.
yeah.
So we've
Oh.
already Jarvis.
We've got
remember?
Jarvis.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jarvis.
Bridget told me that Valerie referred to him as bonus gay.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you also had Doc and Wyatt.
Oh yeah, that's true. He didn't dispute it.
He did not.
He
Also,
did not, but he kind of got outed. He didn't really out himself.
That's true.
That's true. That's very true.
I also have to say, if we're talking about queer vibes, that scene with Mercedes and Winona
I just turned my head so fast. I was looking somewhere else, and you're not actually on my computer screen, but I just like fucking snapped my neck. I was like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Listen, that scene was at least
Let's
vicarious.
talk about it. Given Danny Kine's open admission that she wants to make out with Melanie on the show.
Which means that she is the person who's alive. Because doesn't
Correct.
everybody want to make out with Melanie on the show? I mean, except like
It's
maybe
very true.
Greg, if I were guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would also guess that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot. Like, I love that we get to explore their friendship more, even though Mercedes wasn't in a ton of episodes. And if you're like me and obsessive, besides the hilarious door kick that Winona did almost during when she opened the door, which I totally missed the first time, then you get like when they're doing the "you're not pregnant, your face," she like literally like full on boob like slaps, I guess, Mercedes, and like
Yes.
yeah. So then at the beginning, so when that happened, I was like, okay, and then like this entire episode was just like both like just like a lot, and like seeing the change of Mercedes going from like, well, we'll just go with the status quo and do whatever, and then like Winona's there for like 5 minutes and she's like, never mind, fuck that, I'm going all in, let's fight, bitches.
Yeah, she's like, chicken shit me up, but also you.
I do appreciate, though, that she did call Winona out on pretty much being, like, impulsive, like, you don't think things through. So I do kind of like that she called her out a little bit. But then she totally jumped ship and was like, yeah, I'm going to join you, crazy.
That's the key to every relationship, is being able to call out each other's faults, but, letting go when one is right, and that takes a really strong relationship. So hashtag Wine-Sadies, hashtag Mercedona. Sounds like a fake country.
Forever. I would like to
Mercedona.
be the vice president of Mercedona.
It also, both of them sound like they could also be diseases.
Sure. I will be the vice president of a disease. I'm into it.
But yeah, I hope that Danny gets to come back, or I guess Mercedes gets to come back for more. That was what we call a Bridget Leszewski Freudian slip. Mercedes, the character.
I mean, she's
'Cause
with
I love
Kate, right?
Mercedes.
I
Oh
hope
my
they're both
god,
back.
can they be roommates?
I mean, they
That- I
are,
would-
kind of.
I would watch that
Can
show.
we see it? Can that be like the in between seasons like extra?
That's exactly
Can
what I
Kristen and
said.
some of the writers like write some little shorts for them of like trading spaces?
In
That's
my
exactly what I said. Can that be the bonus content this season?
in my recap, I said that they should star in an HGTV series called Vamp Gardener, in which they redesign people's greenhouses.
Oh my god, the
goodness.
Pretty Little Liars can be on it. Hashtag deep cut. Hashtag glass in my hair.
Hashtag I don't watch that show.
That is, it's one of the stupidest moments of that show ever, and I'm gonna cop shit from 4 people who have been like, no, that's the best part of that show. But there's literally, okay, so
They probably don't
it's
listen to this
sidetrack.
podcast. It's fine.
Sidetrack. So I, when I was in college, with my roommate, he would watch Rain, the show that Megan follows was also on. He would watch that, and that was
And
like his guilty
Rachel
pleasure
Skarsten
show.
was on that too, right?
That's true, yeah, and Caprell in a very quick appearance. So he would watch that, and I would watch Pretty Little Liars. And this one day, it was our like guilty pleasure, like we wouldn't watch it with each other. And this one day we were both sick, so we were just like sitting on the couch, and we were like, we want to watch our guilty pleasure shows, but we don't want you to judge each other. So like, we'll just watch one episode of each, and like you can't be judgy because we're both sick. And so I watched an episode of Rain. I had no idea what was going on. And he watched an episode of Pretty Little Liars, had no idea what was going on. But going into it, I was like, I like the character Emily, right? I think. They all have a lot of similar names. I like the character Emily because, like, yes, it's a very dramatic show, but she's not really one to do, like, the most dramatic lines. Like, she's a little more chill, at least from what I've watched. I had seen, like, it was, like, mid-season 2 or something. And so they're in this episode, and they're hunting after A, who's this, like, person who's blackmailing them, who might be their dead friend. They don't know. And they're in this greenhouse, and they're hunting it, and A goes over them and breaks the window over them, and oh my god, it's crazy, and oh my god, they're so scared. And then and then like the phone rings, and like they're like, oh my god, who should answer it? It's A. And Emily, the character up till then, I was like, she's not as like dramatic, goes, I can't answer the phone, there's glass in my hair. And then like later on, again, like to be more dramatic about it, like whatever happened on the phone call, I don't even remember. And then like she just goes, these aren't highlights, it's glass in my hair, and like brought it up twice. And I was like, why? What is this? And I literally quit the show because my friend, and we had like a no judgment zone, he was just like, that's your favorite character? And I was like, she has not said anything like this before. So yeah, I have not watched Pretty Little Liars since then, much to the chagrin of a lot of people. But yeah, hashtag glass in my hair, long tangent. Watch Pretty Little Liars. Randy Nedley loves it.
Randy Nedley does love it.
I want to see his Netflix queue.
Ooh, that would be because he is a varied media consumer.
Yeah, he mentions what else did he mention?
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
I think that would be a good question for a panel.
It would be a good question for a panel. Maybe you can put in a good word for us.
Taking notes.
Yeah. So I think we all agreed we would love to see Mercedes back next season. I would also like to see Kate back next season. I would love to see Kevin back next season.
Absolutely. Oh, can we talk about Kevin? We got to talk about Kevin. Which, like, what a joke. What a very specific joke. To all you Tilda Swinton fans.
There's a lot of overlap on this podcast. They like Winona Earp and Tilda Swinton.
Okay. Yeah.
That's actually probably close to true.
I believe it. Monica, we've talked about this a little bit, but which is how we got into being like, Kevin is Julian.
Yes, which I thought was a really great theory. It was wrong.
It was wrong. My other one was right. But I think that given what she said about being in a male-dominated field, and given her demeanor and her like total unwillingness to join in, like really although she, I guess, interfered, but like to interfere beyond that, I feel like she could be like a member of the Knights Templar. I would find that super interesting. Which they're kind of like God's army, to put it basically, if you're not familiar. It's for me, it's like super tied with like Indiana Jones. So like to have that, I feel like that would be super cool, and like that could be a total other spin-off. Kevin in the Knights Templar. There's a bunch. We need the Kate and young Clutie, young Constance Clutie spin-off, featuring Wyatt and Bobo and Doc's love triangle.
Sure.
We need
obviously
the Mercedes Kate HGTV spinoff. We need the Kevin and the Knights Templar spinoff. And
where Jolene is a reformed. Oh my God! What if Jolene is in the garden with Waverly?
Oh no, that's awful. But what if she? Okay, wait. This is a Xena spoiler, and Monica, I know you don't watch Xena. Have
Kat,
you seen
it's
Xena?
73 years old. That's on me.
You can spoil it.
Okay, so in Xena, there's this major villainess, if you want to be like that, named Callisto, who like when when Xena was still a warlord, before she was good, she killed Callisto's family, and when Callisto was a kid, and so she vowed to get her vengeance and became a major villain. And then Xena decided to go into Christian mythology.
Sure.
It goes through a lot. It literally goes through so much. It's like it got tired of Greek mythology, so it vaguely goes to Roman because that's pretty easy, and then Christianity, and then Hinduism, and then goes into Buddhism, and like it's just like, let's do all the religions. Anyway, oh my God, so many tangents. Callisto it becomes an angel and actually impregnates Xena magically with angel power.
Sure.
So it would be super interesting. Not that Jolene would impregnate Waverly. Not what I'm saying. I don't think that's going to happen.
They would have a gorgeous baby.
They would. It would be interesting to see if Jolene could be like having been consumed by the forest, if the garden like co-opted those roots or whatever and created her being, but like as a better being. That'd be super interesting, and like a total opposite as to kind of like what Callisto was. Sorry, major spoiler alert. Came out in 1997, guys.
Yeah,
you
I
need
feel
to put
like
a spoiler alert for Xena. You need to put just like a, hey guys, major Xena spoiler alert. Skip to this if you don't want to be spoiled. You don't have to do that. Do whatever you want. But someone's going to get mad at me, Monica. Someone's going to be like, oh, I just got to that season.
Well, let me tell you, Kat, if someone gets mad at you for that, they can eat a bag of dicks. Or vaginas. Like, whatever they want is fine.
Whatever the preference is.
Yeah, like, I don't, just whatever is tastier, whatever you prefer to consume.
Clam bake? Whatever you want.
Correct. If they want a sausage fest or a clam jam.
Angela Lansbury's clam bake.
Ooh,
Sorry. I had to.
Good callback.
Anyway, are there Are there any other things from the finale that you guys would like to touch on?
Of Xena? No, I'm just kidding.
Just of Lost Girl, actually.
I mean, I liked Nicole throughout both episodes. I saw, some negative things out there, but I tweeted Nicole hot out there trying to single-handedly save the town herself, and she's owning Randy Nedley's legacy, and I'm here for it because I feel like we learned last season that, the ordinary citizens of Purgatory need somebody to watch after them too. And I felt like she really lived up to that. She knew that all this other side stuff was going down with Waverly and Winona, and she wasn't like, no, I have to be glued to Waverly's side. She was out there making sure the townspeople got out. She went and saved Kate, and she went and, was doing all these other things, and I really appreciated that. And then I liked how it sort of came full circle, and Waverly proposed to her using the ugly, awful ring that Waverly thought Nicole was using to propose to her on the big gay date night. And I don't know, I just want to say that I've actually been thrilled with their progression and relationship this season, and Nicole coming into her own as the sheriff to the ordinary citizens of Purgatory. And that does play a vital part in the show outside of the supernatural parts. So that's all.
I agree with all of that. I think it's really easy to take the flashy job with the, covert government agency, but it takes a special person to realize that, you still got to ticket people for drunk driving, or else what if the demon hunters get killed in an accident? I have a lot of respect and a lot of affinity for the characters who get the shit done behind the scenes that nobody else wants to do. And I agree with you. I liked Nicole's character progression this season. It's shown that she's not perfect, but she's a good person. When Bunny was having her cat allergy attack, she told the frat boys to take her to the hospital. When Kate needed help, she told Mercedes to stay with her, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna take my giant sword wound and just walk all the way to town. That we know, when Winona and Waverly, it's a long way. When Winona and Waverly were at the mine, town was 10 miles away, so they went to the gardeners that was much closer. So you'd think that was under 2 miles away. So we're saying at least 7, 8 miles away. She thought she was going to walk with a giant, machete wound in her side.
Yep. And then I like her sass. Yeah. I like that she still has sass too when, Kate's reading the tarot and she's like, you couldn't have told us that the minions were coming.
Right.
You're telling us that, oh no, Waverly isn't with Charlie, she's of Charlie, or whatever she said. And then the minions bust in and she's like, you couldn't have told us that? I don't know. She's become one of my favorite characters. And I just appreciate, the comment I saw was just basically you could have taken her out of both of these episodes and you wouldn't have even noticed. And I just totally disagree with that. Because then it's then you're asking us to, forget that these townspeople are there. And I feel like throughout the show, they show it. They show us Bunny, and they show us, sometimes regular people in Purgatory, because I read this also somewhere, you have to remember that you're not just trying to break this curse to save yourself. This whole town's affected by all this stuff going on, and there are just regular people living there, and you have to keep that as perspective for what's going on with everything else. And I don't think you could have removed her from the finale and not even notice.
I agree 100%. I also like that she was like, oh, I was just eating some baby carrots. I don't know why I liked that so much, but I did. I thought it was cute. Like, is it a clue? Is she a rabbit?
She's a rabbit.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Yeah.
The last thing I'll say is I don't think Doc's a vampire anymore.
Me neither.
Me neither.
I think that
Um,
Waverly's angel tears healed him.
That's what I said to Bridget, and she was like, when did she cry on him? I don't remember that. I was like, haven't you seen this like 4 or 5 times? Yeah, I don't remember that.
Wow,
I think
Tim, she wasn't paying attention to a scene that Tim was in. That's bad for Bridget. She's usually like pretty rapt in attention. If him or Danny is in the scene. Wow.
Or you. Because she
I've
shouted
never
louder
been
for
in a
you.
scene.
She shouted louder when you came on our TV.
Yeah.
And she did when Danny Kind was on TV. Also, when Danny Kind just liked my tweet that said that, by the way. So she knows.
Really? Oh no. Hashtag. It's fine.
I think
we're on the same level.
I think
Heidi's trying to talk. I'm just like,
know.
it's fine. Bridget loves me as much as she loves Danny Kind. It's fine.
And he's
really
like, I'm never
does,
coming on your fucking podcast again.
She's like, not if that Cat Zimm is associated with it.
That is not true.
I hate that bitch.
I would never say that.
She said that yesterday, actually.
I would never say that. Actually,
you also have a southern accent, apparently. So I hate that bitch.
I mean, that's kind of an Ohio accent. That's a Midwest accent. Actually, what I said was, you should ask Kat to guest because she did 2 whiskey and donuts and she was awesome. That's what I said.
She did say that.
For the record.
I had been planning.
You,
Kat's been on my list of people to ask to come on, and then she was very gracious and agreed to appear at last minute notice, which I very much appreciate. Same with you, Heidi. Heidi was like, I'm going to a birthday party, but
for the record, I'm almost never doing anything ever. I'm usually watching TV and holding my dog and crying. So my schedule's pretty open.
That does sound really good. That sounds like great
it's
activities.
Being unemployed. It's not great when you need to like go to the doctor, but
also geographically, like not your city, but like where in your apartment or house are you, Kat, right now?
I am in a closet currently that I rigged up some soundproofing with a My Little Pony blanket and a Justice League blanket to get some better sound. And it's far away because my dog is loud and barks a lot, especially when I'm like doing things. Literally, I've had people over and we've been screaming at what's happening on Winona. And then the second we get on Whiskey and Donuts, he's like, bark, 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 bark. I want attention. My name's Clark. So, yeah, so I figured it'd be safer for me to soundproof my closet. Soundproof being very loose term. That I put up 2 blankets.
Heidi, I think you had one final point that I just steamrolled over because I'm a horrible person.
Because we were too busy talking
about Kat being in the closet.
Heidi hates me.
Right.
I don't hate Cat Zimm, everybody. Just for the record, I do not need anybody trolling me about hating Cat Zimm.
I cannot wait to edit that.
For the record,
I hate Cat Zimm, everybody.
For the record, I am fully aware that Heidi does not hate me. I was joking.
We talked to Cat Zimm the night of the finale at like 2 a.m, and I think everybody but Heidi was really drunk.
I was just really tired.
Literally, I have never, ever, like, that's not true because Andrea Higgins kept Bridget up past her bedtime at Akon. But, like, Bridget is a person who has a very strict bedtime schedule. So I can't believe you guys, like, when she realized it was, like, 2:30 in the morning, she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you guys are up late. Anyways, we keep going over Heidi. Heidi's trying to make her point, and we're just
So your last point, that is
whatever.
probably very profound.
It wasn't. It was just about Doc and how I think it was probably a combination of the angel blood too. I think they tried to make us think like he was crazed and he needed it, and that what I think was he drank from Charlie and it started the process of like reverting him back. And so he was coughing and his body was, he didn't know what was going on, but he just knew like I need more of that. And then I think then the tears kind of set him over the edge, which is why I think the angel blood's still in his system, and the tears somehow is what made him be able to enter the garden.
Do you think he's mortal?
I do. I don't think he's a vampire anymore, yeah. Because once in that scene, once he like showed up and sucked out the poison, he never like smiled again with his mustache raised out where you could even see his teeth. I went back and rewatched to check, like, so you don't ever see his teeth again. So I don't think he's a vampire anymore.
I don't think he is.
And I think he was able to cross that boundary and or even enter the garden because he drank that angel blood and or the tears.
Right.
And the last two things I want to say, I have never had a tweet get so many likes because like I'm not a totally cool person, but I'm glad on a rewatch I realized that Julian found his way back because Waverly crossed the border with baby Alice, because I totally missed that when we watched it as a group. And thank you to Emily Andrus for replying to that, because then it went crazy. But the last thing I want to say is I think one of the best decisions of the season was getting Jill Andrews, right? Is that her name? Jill Andrews? To record the slow version of the theme song.
Yes.
And hearing it in the finale.
Yes.
I've listened to it all multiple times today, and I think that was one of the best decisions they made this season. Such a great decision.
It's just so... The fact that she made it under short notice also is insanely amazing, because it is so haunting and so reminiscent of the original, but like beautiful and sad and melancholy, and it just fit with that moment so amazingly. And holy shit. And now I know why it wasn't released when it happened that first time. And it was well worth the wait to hear the whole thing too, also. Or I guess most of the whole thing. Yeah, that was such, like, that moment was so beautiful and ties back to those feelings that you had when it first appeared. But also tied in with what was happening.
Right, and now that song, like, now you can listen to both versions, and one version, like, gets you so pumped up, and you're like, yes, I'm gonna kick ass, and then the next one, you're just like, oh, like, it's so good now. It's like you can listen to that song now for anything you're feeling in life. Just listen to the other version.
The very worst. They need, like, a techno dance remix. Andrea Higgins, make that.
Cher needs to cover that song.
They need to do a mashup with Do You Believe in Life After Love?
Oh, man.
Yeah. I also think, going to that scene, I'm so sorry, but that scene ending them, like, Waverly being taken, and then Doc going up, saying he is the weapon, and then Winona just saying bye. How dare everyone involved with that do that to me personally? What a personal attack. Yeah, I can tell you exactly what happened. Like, I'm in a room full of people, like, you know, except when we're watching the episode, nobody shuts up. So, like, the second a commercial break comes back, it's like, oh my god, that happened. And, like, so much shit had just happened in that one span of, like, the episode between commercial breaks, and no one fucking moved. Like, we were all just like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. For real, for real, for real. Like it. That was just like a perfect button to like, holy shit. Like Winona's not like crying and screaming, and she's just like, hey, that happened. And that's like, holy shit. Come on. Ugh. Heartbreaking.
It was. And,
It was
and
heartbreaking.
everything comes full circle in this show, you know? Like, I was so pissed at him for becoming a vampire, but if he hadn't become a vampire, he wouldn't have killed Julian. He wouldn't have had the angel blood, which might have reverted him back to human. He wouldn't have, like, all of these things, he wouldn't have been able to follow Waverly if he hadn't made that terrible decision. And it's just like...
And also, like you had said, how it comes full circle. There's a shot as Winona's just laying on the ground, and it reminded me so much of in the pilot when, like, you know, the phone's ringing and it's Waverly calling and it's her birthday and she's, you know, turning 27, and it's kind of like she's waking up as the heir, and how it's shot reminded me so much of that scene as well. So it almost feels like it's I know it's season 4, but it's almost like season 1 part 2, you know, like they're kind of, the mythology is going to change. I mean, at least a little bit, maybe not completely, but you know, we're sort of starting over with a clean slate.
Peacemaker's a sword.
Yeah.
A sword, yeah.
That's
well,
a
it
bit
also reminded
complicated. Sorry, that's all I was saying.
Well, yeah. It reminded me, though, too, of the shot when she wakes up in the field, season 2.
Yes, also that.
Field. Yeah.
I think the thing that also called back to season 1 is like, as the curse was transferring to her, and then like as it got taken away, like also her pupils, like they dilate in the pilot, but they do the opposite. I don't know what the term is. Retract?
Undilate.
No, I don't know.
Shrink?
But they get smaller.
Shrink is a word
smaller.
that means that.
They shrink. And when Bolshar ends it. So yeah, I thought that was a super dope callback, and I'm interested to see, you know, Winona's a protector, as decreed by Angel Waverly, but I'm interested to see who she is without the curse. I'm interested, you know, whenever we get everybody back, like, did the Revenants go? You know, like, if Rosita's coming back, is Rosita there? Like, where is, you know, Jarvis? Is he braiding people's hair in the Garden of Eden? Because, like, the argument was, you know, they're demons. No, they can't go to the Garden of Eden, but they're not anymore, are they? Do you think that when the curse ended, that all the Revenants are just human again?
Oh, I thought they went to hell.
And that's one thing I always wondered. But what about the ones who were killed by accident? Right? That's what I always wondered. What happened to them when the curse ends?
Because Bobo died, quote unquote, died before. I'll never believe that he's ever dead, ever. He died before the curse ended, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he had his eyes gouged out, face melted off, kind of. Do you guys think Bobo's dead? For real, for real?
I mean, yeah, but will he stay that way? I don't know. Not necessarily.
I will say one thing for certain: he looked so uncomfortable in his lieutenant armor.
Yeah,
right.
It was so un-Bobo. It was like corporate Bobo, and Bobo's not corporate.
I think he's gone simply because Bobo was done. He was ready to be gone. I don't know. I feel like it would be almost cruel then to have him come back, unless he comes back and he's not cursed anymore. I don't know. They all just disappeared, though. That's the thing. They were, like, in the shot, and then they weren't in the shot. So what happened to them? I don't know. And even his body wasn't there anymore. It was when Robin saw it was just his clothes and his hat.
Yeah. Robin looks so sad too.
Oh yeah.
I was actually so mad at Jeremy. For leaving Bobo. You know?
Me too.
I'm like,
I'm not saying I
'cause
didn't
it, like,
understand why, but yeah.
It was sad. Like we saw a different side of Bobo this season, but especially when he was in that box. Like how we've always like ragged on him and how he like gives half answers and very cryptic things, and it's like when you saw him in the box and he's like trying to remember, but it's coming in, you know, it's coming in patches, so he can't say everything that he wants to. Like I was like, oh shit, like, you know, we've ragged on Bobo for being so cryptic, but like he can't not be cryptic. Like that's how the information comes to him. So, and then like seeing like them doing a crossword puzzle. Like, come on. Like, and him like spelling it out. That was just like, it was a softer side and like a little bit more Robert's fame than Bobo. And it was sad. It was sad. Like him and Robin definitely had I don't know if I would go as far to say a friendship, but probably the beginnings of one. And so yeah, seeing Robin's reaction to Bobo being gone was sad.
an interesting. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak. Interesting sort of parallel that while Jeremy is refusing to let Bobo out and take him with them, Winona has banded together with all the remaining revenants to defeat their enemy. So I just thought it was interesting that those were taking place at the same time.
It also, you could argue, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You could also argue that it calls back to when Bobo wouldn't let Doc out of the well.
Yeah.
When he was Robert's fame. So, karma, it's a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, but then you could then argue if they had let him out, Allshar would not have offered him a job. Well, he could have, I guess, in a different situation, but he would have been out. Instead, he got offered a job and he killed Julian. And
that's
now
true.
they're going to deal with that. Is Mama going to come back?
I hope so.
Because now Julian's dead.
Please.
Waverly barely got any time with her father. And would that have happened if they'd let Bobo come with them?
I want to add that to my wish list for season 4. Megan follows. Megan follows all day, every day. All day, every day, twice on Sunday. Like,
I second that. And do you think that they will tell her, like, hey, we found Julian. Also, Winona stripped him a lot, but he's dead now.
Yeah, I think I just leave that part out.
No, they'll tell him. Her.
And are we ready to see the like drunken spiral that will create? Which I'm sure will be like, oh my god, what if they do like a parallel like season 1 Winona at the bar? Oh, that would be amazing. Can you imagine?
And like she gets thrown out of Shorty's because she's had too much to drink. P.S. I hope Nedley is the owner of Shorty's in season 4. And she goes to Pussy
just
Willow's.
Nedley because there's no one's back yet. It's just Winona and Nedley, and they're like, "Get out of here, Mama."
Mama comes in, and they're like, "Hey." And like she goes to Pussy Willow's, she gets on the mechanical bull, which I know didn't happen in her drunken spiral, but still. And then Randy Nedley goes and finds her, takes her home, puts her to bed, leaves a glass of water, and like falls asleep on her couch to make sure she's okay and she doesn't wake up alone.
The ship will rise. Nedley.
Yes.
Nedley is my ship, is one of my other ships. It's Mercedona. and Nedley are my two main ones. Obviously, way hot, all of them. But I just think that would be amazing. Can you imagine if like Mama came back as they're trying to save everybody? So can you imagine it's being the three of them?
Oh
like
my gosh, I would love
Winona,
it.
her mom, and her like father-ish figure.
And Chrissy
Randy
Nedley.
Nedley is everyone's. No, Chrissy's gone, Monica.
Chrissy comes back because she has to she's gonna chloroform them in their like that's gonna be their Christmas picture. Like they're gonna be all smiling and she's gonna be sneaking up with a bottle, like hee hee.
Listen, like she had to learn that from somewhere, and I feel like it's Randy. So did Randy just like give her a bottle of chloroform and was like,
yeah, where do you
if
even
you
get
ever
that?
need this?
The evidence locker. Her
Oh,
dad's
that
been the
little
sheriff for
locker?
30
locker?
years. Her dad's been the sheriff for 30 years. She knows how to get in the evidence locker.
He has not been the sheriff for 30 years.
20 years. More than 3.
No, it's not. It hasn't been that long because Ward was. We don't need to get into this, but Ward was the sheriff.
Yeah, okay.
And he was
and
the sheriff like when they put Mama in the jail, and Waverly is like 22, and she was 6 when that happened. So.
And how
So
much
it is
older
a
is
decade.
Winona? How much older is Winona than Waverly?
She is
6 years?
6 years older. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been at
So
least a
I'm not
decade.
really good at this math. My question is, okay, so I was
15 years?
rewatching the
15
pilot.
years then. Whatever,
I was
Cat.
rewatching the pilot because like Winona left town, you know, to go to Greece, what, like 5 years before or something like that?
Sure.
But when she first sees Nedley and he's an asshole to her, she's like, Nedley, and he's like, Sheriff Nedley. Do you think that's him just being like, hey, bitch, I'm sheriff, put respect on my name? Or do you think I took initially, I don't know what the words are. Initially, I took that as him being like, I'm the sheriff now, and these here parts. Because Randy Nedley was not nice in that scene.
No.
That was another tangent that we didn't need to go on. But
That's okay. That's why people
At
listen to our
least 5
podcast.
years. At least 5 years he's been sheriff.
I
I would love to see him and Michelle and Winona together, and I would love to see Winona being the third wheel to those two. Could you imagine?
and interrupting them, like definitely on purpose.
Listen, it doesn't necessarily have to go that far. Like, we don't have, like, I know a lot of people will be uncomfortable with Nedley boning, but
I'd be uncomfortable if they weren't boning. Like, it's all part of a relationship.
that needs to be a fucking quote.
Listen, I'm not saying I
would
need
be
to see it.
Hashtag Supercorp. I'd be uncomfortable if they weren't boning.
Listen, I don't need to see it. I don't need to see intimate, what did you call it? Meshedley kisses
Yes, Nedley.
and them in bed together. Like, I'm
Yeah,
okay with knowing that it happens on screen, but I would want to know that it happens because it definitely is.
I would just love them to be like, not in the like making out all the time, but like the PDA couple, like Eskimo kisses and stuff. And like driving, and Winona's like vomiting in the corner. Like, I just think that would be so. I think it'd be so funny because, like, I mean, obviously we know somewhat of Julian and Mama having had that loving relationship, but I think it would be good for Winona outside of her sister and Nicole seeing a like relationship that is just like, well, oh my god, PDA, like, you know, like very love, because I feel like Randy Nedley has feelings for Michelle, as we're established.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he does.
And in that episode where we slapped each other, Monica, because we were at Akon.
Correct.
And I feel like Michelle would just be like, all right, whatever. Cool.
Sounds fun.
So yeah. But yeah, we have ideas now, because that like her getting drunk and Nedley taking care of her is on brand for both of them.
Kat, I think you definitely need to come back, and we just need to talk about Randy Nedley. Not that we didn't almost entirely do that this episode, but you need to come back, and I would love to talk about Nedley's character progression with you. I think that would be super cool.
It can be like a spin-off like special episodes. There's something in the air, parentheses, Randy Nedley is everyone's dad.
I would like to listen to that.
That's perfect.
And it's just it's us talking about everyone that Randy Nedley could be dad to, which is everyone.
I pitched a Supergirl spin-off to Michelle. There's something in the hair and L, and she did not go for it.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't know why. Kat, were there any other, Heidi? That was your list of points, correct? I don't want to cut you off.
Heidi
Okay.
did so good at being like, here are my points, and here are them concisely, and then it's just me being like, let me tell you about Xena, guys.
I like to listen to you guys doing that. I'm not good at doing that myself.
I had somebody, and I have probably told this story on the podcast before, I had somebody come up to me at ACON and say how much they liked our podcast. I believe it was Jeannie. Jeannie, if you're listening, thank you. One of my favorite con memories. And I was like, oh, thank you. You know, we try really hard, and we just have a good time, and we hope it shows. She was like, yeah, you guys are a bunch of idiots. And I was like, no. She's like, but no, like in a good way. I'm like, no, I took it in the spirit you meant. Yeah, we are. You're correct. We're a bunch of idiots. So that was really cool. Kat, were there any final points that you wanted to make regarding this
yes.
show?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just generally I'm very excited to see where season 4 is going to go. I'm glad that everybody's kind of like, not everybody, but a lot of people are like, oh, the hiatus, oh no, and I'm like, listen, I need time to just like digest everything that's happened. I'm sure once we get like several months in, I'll be more upset, especially because they seem to be pushing the premiere a month each year. So it's probably going to premiere in August, which is going to be awful now thinking about it. But at this point, I'm just like, I need to go back and watch everything and just see all the clues, because there have been a lot of clues. And as I said, like, it's just like, it's one of the first times that I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, like literally Randy Nedley at the end of the episode, just like, yeah, fucking bring it. Like, there's been like the other ones the other season finales I've been like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? But this one I'm just like, yes, I want to see what the fuck's gonna happen. And I'm not like, I need to see it now. I'm like, I can't wait to see it, but I also want to go back and see what they've built, because it's been masterful. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I am so glad that we got to have such a great season, and that we also don't have to spend part of our hiatus yelling at sci-fi.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
it was nice watching that
feel
finale. It was like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do, and knowing that we were gonna find out what they would do.
Yes, that's so great, because it's yeah, it sucks when it's like, oh shit. I would have been pissed if it hadn't already been renewed and it ended that way, with just it being like, oh yeah, bring it. I would have been more pissed than any other season. I would have just been yelling at Josh from Sci-Fi and be like, come on, man, let's do it, man.
We have to do it. We have to know.
Poor man. Yeah, so it's really awesome, and props to Sci-Fi for being so much faith in the show, renewing it really like before it had premiered, even though technically it had. That's just so awesome, and I'm happy they're our network, and that they. This is a sci-fi appreciation podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I love them. I'm happy that they're a network, and I think that they have, like, as the fandom has evolved, they have evolved with us instead of being a network that's just like, no, this is the way things are done and this is how we're going to do them. They kind of started that way, and then after the first like hiatus, no chill, they were like, oh, okay, these guys like are not like that. So we better like change what we're doing. And they did, and like that takes balls, because like it's not easy to do stuff like that when you're in an established industry that has certain norms and stuff. And so yeah, I'm not just saying that because they put me in a commercial. I'm
For
flipping my
sure.
hair.
Sell
No,
out.
I would agree with that. They're like adapting where I think other networks aren't to the digital age.
And that's why we love them, and that's why we want 5 spin-offs, Josh. You hear me?
5.
5.
Josh is
Yeah.
a huge fan of our podcast. Listens every week.
I know.
He doesn't.
That's why I'm talking to him.
He doesn't know who we are.
That you
That's
know of. You don't know. He could have a
pretty
fake
sure.
account.
That's, well, maybe. Okay. Yes, Heidi.
I was just gonna say we also have Funkos to look forward to in the
I'm
hiatus.
Yes,
very
we
excited
do.
about that.
Absolutely. I wonder what they're gonna do, you know? Like, just the most basic.
It's hard to
I
tell.
want a Mama Funko, and I don't know what I would do. I would do lots of things to get one.
Listen, what if they had a Danny Kind in that pink dress from the finale with the back tattoo?
That's
that
her
too.
back tattoo. Did you know that?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's an awesome back tattoo. Sorry.
Yes.
Just, you guys, I like Danny Kind. I don't know if you know this as well. She's a fucking dope human, and that's an awesome back tattoo. And I'm glad it got showcased and not like covered up, because that would have sucked.
When they announce the Funkos, we definitely have to get together again and talk about them, and which might just be like 37 minutes of dolphin noises. But like that's
I do know,
like that'll be easy to edit.
I do know one of the funniest things from being in the, like, immediately after the Comic-Con panel, we're all like riding the high of renewal, and like it's so awesome, we're so happy, and like I was with Jordan Barber from Atomic Octopus Designs, and she was just like so happy about the renewal, but she was like, thank God I don't have to make custom Funkos anymore. And I was like, yeah, you're still gonna have to make custom Funkos, because they're gonna make like 4, and it's not gonna be, you know, everybody's still gonna want ones. She's like, but at least I have a starting ground. And I was like, okay, fair point.
Okay, I am going to wrap things up here. Thank you, everyone, for.
That was
What?
a good half hour.
Yeah, I was like, maybe we can just talk for like a half hour. Everybody pick like 2 things you want to talk about. Yeah, that was funny, Monica.
One of my things was Xena. You didn't ask for both of them. So.
You know what? I guess that's on me. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want to find our podcast, you can go to our website. It's earthsplainpod.com. You can find links to our merch shop and also to our Patreon there. And also this lovely podcast is located there. And all of our contact information is there if you want to write in with anything. You can find me on Twitter at lesbianzer. Heidi, where can they find you?
Twitter, it's highdizzle20.
And Cat?
On Twitter, it is Simzim, CIMZIM.
And I highly recommend that you follow both of them. They are hilarious, have wonderful theories, and are lovely, lovely people. You can, I always forget this. Okay, you can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google Play. You can find us really anywhere that you can find podcasts, including YouTube. Michelle spent a very long time putting all of our episodes up on YouTube. And you can also rate and review us on iTunes. And if you want to do that, that would be awesome. We would appreciate it very much. This is a wrap on season 3 reaction episodes. I'm not sure what you can expect from us for the next year. We haven't really talked about it. We are definitely going to take a bit of a break, though. I'm going to Earpapalooza in a couple of weeks, and I just I myself, not to be selfish or whatever, but I have been doing a lot of Earping for these last several weeks, and I am looking forward to a bit of a break and a little vacation with my wife. And then I'll be at Earpapalooza if you're going to that. Be sure to seek me out. I'll have some Lesbian pins that if you want one of those, I'd be happy to give you one. Sorry, Bridget. And I look forward to meeting you guys there. And I look forward to seeing Cat there. Heidi won't be joining us. Instead, Heidi is going to Walker Soccer Con to meet ADC.
Oh,
And I won't survive.
I am
R.I.P.
I just would say, and I'm taking the blanket that Monica's awesome wife made me, which is Lex's war paint, and I'm going to have it in my photo op, and it's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be really, like, I told Heidi I wish that I could like afford money-wise and like time-wise that I had the vacation time to go with her. Like, I don't give a shit about ADC. I'd never watched that show. But like to see my friend meet like the actress behind her favorite character of all time, like how cool would that be? It would have been really cool. So I'm super excited for Heidi that she's going to that. And I'm excited to see Cat in a couple of weeks at Earpapalooza. So anyway, thank you for listening, and remember, it may be a shit show, but it's our shit show.